Hey everybody, get ready for another episode of Hey It's History. With our Global 9 class today, we're going to take you through another awesome journey through time. So get ready to rock. And we have 4 amazing students with us today. They're going to introduce themselves right now.
I'm Carlitos.
I'm Erika.
I'm Marissa.
I'm Julia.
So get ready because we are going to take you through an awesome journey through time. And today's topic is the Golden Ages. What are the key factors for establishing a Golden Age? And what were the greatest contributions of the Gupta, the Romans, and the Han Chinese? Let's do this! All right, everyone. So the first topic we're going to take a look at today is, what is a Golden Age, first of all, and how do you establish one? That's the thing. And so for Golden Ages, it's really a time of peace and prosperity where there's lots of cultural production of goods, and generally people are happy. It's not a perfect society. There are things that are going on that are, at times are bad, but overall, if you look at the grand scheme of things, right, they're living a pretty good life. So what does it take to accomplish this? And we're going to go to Carlitos here first. Carlos, what does a society need to have this golden age? What do you think?
All right. You need to have control in the things you're doing and have a strong government with laws that everybody knows, and also have a strong leader.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. You definitely need a strong government. You need good leadership because usually golden ages are coming from a time of chaos already. And then someone's finally ending the chaos and creating order, right? And that's where good things start happening. All right, what do you think, Erika? What do you have?
I said military strength, like when a civilization is settled and at peace. Often this means that the civilization has a strong army and is capable of keeping it at peace.
Absolutely, which is, it's kind of ironic that you need strong fighting force to actually keep the peace, but that's the whole idea, right? Peace through strength, and we see many societies doing this, from the Gupta to the Han to the Romans, of course. All right, Marissa, what else do we have about these golden ages? What makes them golden ages?
A government needs to control trade because that's where the goods come from, and that brings wealth and a sense of peace and prosperity.
Absolutely, you definitely need to control the trade routes, and we're going to see examples of that as well throughout time. And Julia, what do you think?
Well, having new and improved technology to live easier can help the people live their life.
Yes, and you also kind of need the opportunity for people to make these items, right? You need this sort of some aspect of where people can be creative. And I think the government needs to allow people to use their creativity to invent new things, art, architecture, engineering, science, and math. And we'll see all of those types of characteristics in these 3 areas that we're talking about today: the Gupta, the Romans, and the Han. So let's get into that in a moment. Right, so the first place we're going to visit right now is the Roman Empire during this golden age. And so, Julia, what do you think about this? What have the Romans accomplished during this golden age?
During the Golden Age, the Romans built an extensive system of roads, and that helped the movement of troops and communication. They also established aqueducts to carry water to cities and farms.
Absolutely, extremely important that the creation of the aqueducts using different architectural techniques, and I think Marissa is going to tell us more about those accomplishments.
They invented concrete, which helped build huge roads, arches, and domes. They built open-air buildings such as the Colosseum, and they built bridges over huge rivers. They had a republican form of government and became one of the largest empires that ever existed.
That's great stuff. There's so many accomplishments of the Romans. The Greeks are called the great thinkers. The Romans are known as the great builders. And this is what they do, right? They built this huge empire spanning across Europe. Those roads connected everyone. They had the military that can travel quickly throughout to keep the peace. And they had good leaders. As Carlos mentioned earlier, leadership was a big deal here. They had Augustus Caesar, who starts it off. And then they've said that there's 5 great emperors of Rome that kept it together for about 200 years. And do you remember what that was called? The 200 years of peace in Rome? I mean,
It was a Pax Romania.
Right, Pax Romana, exactly. Pax Romana, peace in Rome for 200 years, a Latin term. And so that was a big deal. And I found this quote, I think that was kind of cool, from Augustus Caesar. He says, "I found a city of brick and left it one of marble." So I think that's kind of cool. Just, that he sort of redesigned the city. He said domes and, of course, the great, buildings later on. The Colosseum will be built. So pretty amazing things that still last today. Some of these things are still, you can see them today, like the Pantheon in Rome as well. Is a dome. It's one of the largest freestanding domes in the world. All right. Any one last comment you wanted to make, Julia, about the Roman Empire?
Rome became the economic, political, and cultural capital of the entire world at the end of the Golden Age.
Absolutely. All right, next we're going to take a look at the Gupta Empire, and we have Carlitos here who's going to tell us about what they accomplished during their Golden Age.
They built iron pillars that they had their laws on, and also they had educational system, so they knew how to read and write.
Yeah, very good. Education is important to any society. You need people who are literate, right, who understand the laws. And yeah, these iron pillars were awesome pieces of art. Number one, they still last today, and they had some of the laws on there as well. What else you got?
They're also good at math. They created the number system that we use today, and they had astronomy. They discovered that the Earth is round.
That's pretty big. I was like, hundreds of years before Columbus, and they already had this idea that the Earth was round. In terms of what'd you have again? First one? Math, yeah. The numbers we use today, we call them Arabic numerals, but they really come from the Gupta. The Gupta shared them with the Arabs, and the Arabs shared them with the Europeans, and the Europeans called them Arabic numerals. But really, we should call them Gupta numerals. So I don't know. I feel bad for the Guptas. They kind of get the short end of the stick here. Anyway, they should get more credit. Astronomy, yeah, discovered the Earth is round, and also I think they discovered or they named or identified like 6 planets. So they were really strong in terms of astronomy as well. So absolutely, with these golden ages, you can see all the achievements that the Guptans were able to accomplish. So good job. And the Guptas didn't last that long, but what they did in a short period of time was pretty amazing. Good job, Carlito.
Thank you.
All right, last but not least, we're going to take a look at the Han Dynasty and what they accomplished during their golden age. Erika, what do you got for us?
Like inventions for travel. They made compass, and they had chunks and rudder. Like chunks were small and shallow hulled vessel with 1 or 2 masts, and the rudder enabled ships to steer without using oars. It's like making it a lot easier to navigate. And they invented silk and paper. Like during the Han Dynasty, silk was very valuable and used as currency. And they had philosophy and education, like Confucianism, legalism, and Taoism.
Absolutely. Confucianism was really the basis of the Han Dynasty. And I think that's one thing they did, that it gave people a sense that they could make it, because the civil service exams, right, were exams that anyone can take. And if you had the skill, you can move up in society. And with that kind of hope, that kind of opportunity, I think people feel good about their community. They feel like, hey, there's a chance that I can better my life. And that helps to keep the peace, right, which ultimately is what you need to have a golden age. They had a strong military. They expanded their empires. And all 3 of these areas, the Gupta, the Han, the Romans, they all sort of develop out of a time of chaos. They bring law and order to society, and that allows things to flourish and prosper and everything else, right? So does anybody have any last comments they want to make about Gupta, Rome, Han, golden ages?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we're living in a golden age right now?
No.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Why not?
Like a lot of inequality.
Inequality?
Inequality and like wars going around.
Yeah, but there are some wars, that's right. But in terms of your daily life, do you feel like you're in a war-torn civilization?
No.
I was
You were? Where was that?
in my country.
What country?
In Venezuela.
Venezuela. Yeah, so you know the difference, right? There's a lot of instability in Venezuela today because their government, right, is going through some problems, and now there's shortages of food, and people are hungry and scared, right, and afraid, and there's resources. So, is the United States like that?
No.
Right, far from it. So, in one perspective, you think that we are living in this lack of a golden age. But think of all the great inventions we have in this country. What kind of inventions do we have that we're living with every day?
Phones.
iPhones, right?
Technology.
All this technology. So in many cases, it could be seen as a golden age. 100 years from now, people might be like, wow, that was a golden age they lived in. Even though there's problems, nothing's perfect. Right? Even these golden ages, there were problems. But for the most part, is there stability, right? Do you have good leadership? Do you have a strong government? Is there people educated? Do they have a chance to accomplish things and invent new things? And is there artwork? Is there architecture, right? These are the definitions that we see as perhaps being a golden age. And maybe we're in one now, maybe not. But I hope we are. I hope we are. Any other comments before we send this thing off? No?
I love you, Carl.
That was Carlito sending his love to Carl. All right, everybody. We want to thank you for being part of our episode 3 on Golden Ages, and we'll see you next time. Bye.